morning. Happy New Year. I'm wishing you so many blessings to you and your family in this new year. Thank God that we all saw a new year. I'm so grateful to be before you, and thank you so much for watching the show. This year, we're going to do something new. I have some great things in store for you. And every time you feel a little bit down or you feel a little weak, I want you to remember this scripture. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Philippians 4:13. I know last year was a little bit rough. It was rough for me too. But I want you to remember to keep your head up, because this is a new year and a new beginning. And I want you to get ready to be educated, empowered, inspired, because it's life-changing. And I'm your host, Dr. Carlita Perry. Welcome to the show. This year, we're going to get even closer as I bring you some forbidden topics into your living room. I want you to feel the ups and downs. I want you to feel the joy and the pain. I want you to laugh with us, cry with us. I want you to talk back to the TV. I want you to write me. I want you to even call me if you need to make an appointment to work through your own stuff. My first guest in the new year is Miss Nisha Purvis, also known as Beautiful Disaster, poet and spoken word artist and survivor of domestic violence. Welcome to the show, Miss Nisha Purvis. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
You look awesome.
Thank you as well.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining me. Nisha and I met recently, and I heard her speak, and I just had to have her on the show. And so I want to thank you again for taking the time out of your schedule to be here with me. So thank you, and welcome to the show again.
Thank you.
I wanted to start it before we get into your story, because you have so many talents. I want people just to know a little bit about you. I want them to see the full woman that you are. So tell us a little bit about your upbringing.
Okay. I am a New Jersey native.
Okay.
I do it.
My hubby's from New Jersey.
I have 3 sisters. I grew up and I have a little brother.
Okay.
He's 7
Okay.
now. I grew up in a household with both parents. It was a suburban area.
Okay.
I've lived there up until my early 20s, until
Okay.
which I moved to Virginia.
Okay.
I have 2 children.
Oh,
my daughter is 8 years old, and my
Okay.
son is in high school now.
Wow.
14, going on 15.
Teenager.
Yes. I have a wonderful fiance. I've been writing forever. I've been writing since I was little.
Yeah.
I used to, I don't know if I should say this, but get paid to write people's papers in high school, and sometimes they got better grades than me, but that's a whole nother story. But
That's what happens when you're lifting other people up.
lifting other people up, and meanwhile, they're reaping the benefits, so that's fine.
And I always say, sometimes, if we don't understand the power, the worth of our talent, we will just give it away because we just want to share it.
Exactly. But it's always been a passion of mine
Okay.
to write, and I honestly didn't start performing spoken word until I moved here to Virginia.
Okay.
So I found an avenue with a lot of local open mics, and you'd be surprised that
Wow.
you can just pretty much go to any city and find an open mic with true talented
People.
artists and
That's
writers.
wonderful. And most people who write or sing or, they usually have all these little pieces of paper, notebooks of little snippets of things. I know I got half of stories, and being an author, like I started writing, far back as I can remember, and I have all these pieces of little love stories and little different things that you write, so talent is always there. It's just a matter of when we recognize it. So I'm so glad that you're here.
Thank
You
you.
recognize your talent, and I see it too. And so we have a surprise for you a little bit later. But I want to go back into, before, things are awesome now, and I'm so grateful and so glad for you. But there was a time in your life where it wasn't so light. It wasn't. It was a little bit dark for you.
Yes.
And so tell us about that time in your life and when that started.
It started, I was in my mid-20s. I'm not going to say how old I am,
That's
thank
okay.
you. But I look fabulous. But I was in my mid-20s. I was
Okay.
introduced to a gentleman by a mutual friend, and
Okay.
she felt that we would be a perfect match.
Okay.
I had recently got out of a relationship with my daughter's father.
Okay.
And it's a lot of women go through that vulnerable stage where they're
Yeah.
just feeling like a little bit dejected, rejected, or
Okay.
when love doesn't work out like you thought it would.
Exactly.
And I met this guy, and I just thought he was perfect, if there's such a thing.
Yeah.
Perfect for me.
For you,
We
exactly.
clicked, we laughed, we joked, we liked the same things. And what was different about him is, as far as being in your mid-20s, you're looking more into your future. So
Yeah.
it's just like, oh, this guy's got a great job. He's handsome. He's funny.
Yeah.
He can dance, which
Yeah.
was important to me. He would make me laugh. So, you know, I was just like, maybe let's just give this a chance.
Exactly.
And it just turned into it was everything but perfect.
Wow.
You know, so I was in this relationship for a year, 4 years,
Okay.
4.5 years.
Okay, wow.
And the first year, I always say it seemed cool, it seemed good, but when I look back, there were a lot of red flags that.
And what were some of those like red flags?
A lot of insecurities,
Okay.
you know, a lot of things that at the time you just look at like, okay, he's just a little bit insecure, but now knowing is controlling.
Yeah.
So it's okay. I called you, the phone rang 4 times. You're
Exactly.
supposed to pick up after 2. Or, you know, if you're not here with me, where are you? Who are you talking to?
Exactly.
My performing at open mics became a source of insecurity. I had to be, if I talked to any guys, you were flirting with him. Who are you writing this poem about? If it's not about me, who is it? I mean, it's
Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
you just learned another side of
Yeah.
someone. So I learned that first year.
And a lot of people look at those things, oh, that they're just being protective. They're
Right.
just looking
They
out
just
for
really
me,
like me,
you
and
know.
right.
And for some women who maybe haven't had that, you know, someone to look out for them, like, I don't care where you go, then they'll look at that like, oh, that person, they're just looking out for me. They're trying to
Right.
be protective.
Right.
And, you know, at the seminar where I met you, when I was talking about domestic violence, I was trying to think of that movie. It was actually called Insecure.
Really?
Yes, with an N. And so if someone watches that, you will see some of those same symptoms that you just talked about. A lot of insecurity, that where are you? It only takes 12 minutes to get home.
Exactly.
You know, it took you 20. What happened? Where were
Right.
you? And so those are some of the things that I'm glad you said, because a lot of women miss.
Right.
You know? Now, I really always hate to ask this question, but you don't have to go into detail, but what were some of the abuse that you ended up having to experience during this relationship?
I'm very comfortable talking about it. So, I mean, finally got to that point, but I would say for the second, third year, it was very verbally, mentally, and emotionally. So anything you could say to demean a person. And a lot of times people don't think that verbal is as bad as physical, but a lot of times it is, if not worse, because no one sees those bruises.
Exactly.
So if I walked in here and had a black eye, you might say, you know, what's wrong? Is everything
Exactly.
okay? But if I walk in here and just walked in here after hearing 30 minutes of you're stupid, you're worthless, no one's
Exactly.
going to want you. You have 2 children, you have them by 2 different fathers,
Exactly.
you're never going to be anything, you're nothing without me. I mean, no one can see that. It's not like the words are painted on you when you enter a room.
Exactly.
So for that second and third year, it was just horrific mental, verbal, and emotional abuse. And then the last year and a half, it was all of the above, but it included the physical.
Exactly. And a lot of times it starts that way, and you know, even at the domestic violence seminar, people always ask me which one is worse, you know, and they're all bad. I mean, you know, from the economic to the sexual, the physical, the verbal, you know, all of it, you know, to me is a psychological game, you know, and but the emotional piece is the psychological sort of trauma that it puts on a person, you know, the words, you know, the things that you can't see, the pain, the scars that, you know, are buried inside of a person. You know, even with a child, you know, people think, okay, you have to be careful what you say, but with anyone, you have to be careful what you say. You can destroy someone's soul, someone's spirit by telling them they're no good, you're stupid, you know, you're not good enough, who's gonna want you? Those words hurt and they stay with people, and people don't understand that that's the pain. Oh girl, you'll get over it.
Right.
No, it's not that easy.
The words stick way
The
longer
words stick.
than bruises.
So you were in this relationship for 4 years. How were you able to find the strength to leave that relationship?
That's a good question. Honestly, it took prayer, because there was a time where I was suicidal, you know, and at that point he told me I had to choose between writing, and writing is like my sanity.
It's
Sometimes it's therapeutic, it's my passion. So he said, you know, you have to pick between me, writing, me, open mic. So those cycles are so true. I cut off my friends. I got rid of all my social media.
Isolation.
My family's up north, so it would just be like everything's okay. But for those dark periods, it took a lot of prayer, and it took, honestly, if I didn't if he didn't kill me, I was gonna kill myself. Like, I'll just put it out there, and my children didn't deserve that.
No.
So just prayer, my children, and then finally realizing what made me actually leave, and it's important, is this was an interracial relationship, and we got into an argument, and this was after, I mean, I had already had ribs broken, concussions, things like that, and we got into an argument, and he called my mother and my sisters the N-word.
Wow.
So for me, it was just like, it's one thing for me to not stand up for myself, but to not stand up for the women that I love most in the world, I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So I had to leave.
And a lot of people end up finding their strength in someone else, for their children, for family members, and sometimes they say, this is it. But the interesting thing is, you know, that it doesn't matter, just find the strength.
Right,
and I'm
find it.
so glad that you found the strength for you to be able to leave from that, because I think you are definitely a survivor. Thank you so much for watching It's Life Changing. Miss Nisha Purvis, give her a hand. Done a great job. Thank you so much. Domestic violence is so serious. If you need help, please call the hotline. Please talk to a friend. Make sure that you get the help that you need. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
My name is Nisha Purvis. I am a spoken word artist by the name of Beautiful Disaster, and this is my piece entitled Dear Broken Woman. Dear broken woman, I used to be you. Until one day I looked into the eyes of my daughter and I decided my past wasn't worth her future. I mean, how could I teach her to stand up straight, head held high, when my own chin kissed the very ground I walked on every time I found the courage to pick myself up? How could I teach her the definition of a strong woman when my own weakness defined me in a dictionary I didn't want to read anymore? You see, dear broken woman, I used to be you. I used to think the world made Band-Aids as small as the paper cuts I should have got from writing hurtful words in journals that I never opened, and that cereal for breakfast and sometimes dinner made me less of a mother because it seemed I never had enough bread to bring home the bacon. Not much of a matchmaker. I found it hard to get ends to meet and damn near impossible for them to stay together when they did, but learned the one thing great about reading bedtime stories in the dark is baby girl couldn't see mama's tears so easily with a flashlight, and shut-off notices read in the sun didn't seem so scary after midnight. I mean it when I say, dear broken woman, I used to be you. I used to think having a man by my side was better than no man at all, until I realized the man by my side was no man at all, plus his shoes weren't that big anyway. Meaning, not what you're thinking, even though that part's true too, but it wouldn't take much to fill them. So rather replacing them with another mistake, another half-hearted attempt to make something real out of fake, I decided I wanted to be full. And so I feasted. And by feasted, I mean, I became so full of myself that I binged on my confidence, overindulged in my spirituality, relished in my beauty, feeded bruises and all, and stuffed myself with the determination to fix me. I took every dream I ever had, pushed them inside a duffel bag engraved with my daughter's initials, and carried them with me until it was safe to believe in them again. I promise you, dear broken woman, I used to be you. Until the day I looked into my daughter's eyes and realized she couldn't wait to be me.
Welcome back to It's Life Changing. It's now time for our community resources. Our first guest today is Miss Shamika Copeland from the YWCA. Give her a hand. And my second guest is Miss Sarah Pitson from the Up Center. Give her a hand. Welcome, ladies, to the show. Thank you so much for being here. I'm going to start actually with Sarah from the Up Center. I wanted you just to share some services. I know the Up Center has some awesome services across Hampton Roads, and so I wanted to invite you on the show just to share some of the awesome things that you guys have going on, so that people who are going through different things throughout this month, we're going to be talking about some really difficult issues. And so I wanted to have people who could come on and talk about services for families, children, men, women, those type of things. So please share some of the services that you all offer.
Well, let me start out with our mission, and it's kind of lengthy. So our mission is to protect children, strengthen families, maximize independence for those with disabilities, and empower people in crisis.
Perfect.
And I'm really going to focus on the Empower People in Crisis
Okay.
piece because that's what I'm most involved with.
Wonderful.
So our entire agency provides trauma-informed care services, and that really means that we realize the widespread effects of trauma.
Yes.
We recognize the signs and symptoms of trauma, and many times, especially in my work, we're able to recognize that the signs and symptoms are linked to bad experiences that somebody has gone through.
Yes.
And then on top of that, we recognize and respond to those symptoms and really put into our policies and procedures this trauma-informed approach.
Exactly.
So as far as our services go, we provide these trauma-informed services through a number of different programs. Primarily our counseling program provides services to individuals, families, couples, military families, veterans, anyone and everybody that's in need. And we provide those to people that have insurance or that don't have insurance.
That is wonderful. That's a lot. And I know you all have some different groups. I actually used to co-lead a couple of groups seeking safety with a woman from the Up Center. I was at a different organization. I've worked with both organizations in consultation, so I'm excited about those services. Now, I also know you guys have several locations throughout Hampton Roads as well.
We do.
Where are you located?
So we're primarily located in Norfolk, Suffolk, and Portsmouth. I'm in the Suffolk office, and that's located downtown off of Clay Street.
Good.
And our Norfolk office is in the Ghent area, and in the Portsmouth office, that's off of Airline Boulevard.
Okay, that's good. And that's important to note because a lot of people don't know that there are several locations, you know, and that you can get services at all of the locations. And if there's something that they can help you with, then they can, you know, put you to the one that's closest to you or get you the services that you need in your service area. And so give us a little bit of contact information so people can get in touch with you for more information.
If you need to get in touch with me, you can call me at 965-8660 or email me at sarah.pitzen, that's S-A-R-A-H, .pitzen, P-I-T-Z-E-N, at theupcenter.org. If you'd like to schedule an appointment for individual counseling, you can contact our intake coordinator. Her name is Jessica Oulahan, and her phone number is 965-8652.
Wonderful job. Give her a hand. Ms. Sarah Pitzen. And now I'm going to go over to Ms. Shamika Copeland from the YWCA. Tell us a little bit about the YWCA.
YWCA, our mission is to eliminate racism and empower women. However, we are part of a national organization, and each local association conforms to the needs of their community. Our main initiative is to strengthen the minds of our women and girls through education, encouragement, and exposure. And we do this because we recognize the need in our immediate community. We have a lot of women and girls who are victims of domestic violence, sexual trafficking, gang activity, reentry, homelessness. So we have a service called an Impact. It is our Impact initiative. And before I go into detail with that, I wanted to share a couple of interesting statistics, which proves the need for our program. 1 in 4 women will experience domestic violence within their lifetime. And children are witnessing violence in their homes at a record rate. 15.5 million children reported having witnessed domestic violence. Because children learn from social cues, witnessing and experiencing violence in their homes at such a young age can often result in their distorted perceptions of dating and healthy relationships. So together with a lot of different organizations, we provide this Impact initiative. And we achieve our goals within 4 major components: emergency services and resource referral services, therapeutic and counseling services provided by Agape Foundation, Inc., personal and professional enhancement, and healthy lifestyle. So I'll give you a little bit about each of those. Our emergency and resource referral services, those individuals who are fleeing from domestic violence situations, while right now we don't have housing, we do connect them directly with someone that can provide them that emergency shelter, such as Transitions, the Mitchellville House, or the Natasha House. And they're all of our close partners. Some women and families end up being homeless due to certain situations, and we're able to provide that connection as well. In connection with the food bank we provide, and a lot of local churches, we support their hunger needs And then on site, we have therapy and counseling available in partnership with Agape Foundation, Inc. And it can be family counseling, individual counseling, and group counseling. And we also serve those who have insurance and those that don't have insurance. And we also provide personal enhancement as far as a training program called Food, Focus, and Fun, where we focus on coping skills. And then we provide professional enhancement services as well, resume writing, computer literacy, job search, online navigation. Since the program started in January 2015, as of September the 15th, we've served our 100th client. And that makes a really big difference. Among that 100 clients, we've placed over 30 individuals with jobs. We've helped a lot of women and children come out of really unsafe environments onto better sustainable ground. And our Healthy Lifestyle Initiative supports Zumba. We provide Zumba twice a week on site. So we're centrally located in East End, so no longer does anyone have to go far to receive counseling or Zumba or professional development. You can come right to the YWCA.
Okay, and what's that address?
That address is 2702 Orchid Avenue, Newport News, Virginia. Our office number is 757-245-6026. And you can also call that number to be scheduled with a counselor. Again, that number is 757-245-6026.
Okay, very good. Thank you so much for joining us, Ms. Shamika Copeland. I want to thank both of my guests for being here, Ms. Sarah Pitson and Ms. Shamika Copeland. I want to say it's a new year and it's time for you to work on yourself from inside out. Happy New Year and God bless you. Thank you so much for watching. It's life changing.